Okay, so the meeting's being live streamed. You probably got the
Yes.
notice for that. Setting up the meeting. And then I have to turn the volume
Probably
down
got
on the
the
meeting itself, or
notice
we
for
get
that.
this,
Setting up the meeting.
or we get that echo. Okay, let me get back to Zoom now, and we are live. So how are you today? It's
Hey,
fantastic, fantastic
I am
Tuesday.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad we were able to move this around a little bit because at noon, it would have been tight for me. I would have been able
It
to do
was
it, but it would have been like 15, and then I gotta run out the door to a meeting. So,
it worked
uh,
well. It
I
worked well.
wanted to talk a little bit today about we talked a little bit about our both of our frameworks, like our five-step frameworks that we have, and I was interested to know a little bit about presence because we started talking about that, and you mentioned so your oldest is Isaiah, right?
Yes, Isaiah is my eldest
Yeah,
son. Yeah.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
14.
So I would like to hear more about that. How you teach him and encourage him to be present.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because it's not really teaching. I love conversations.
Uh-huh.
So I love having conversations with Isaiah. And the best time to do that, where we have really deep connecting moments, are when I am driving him to school early in the morning,
Mm.
or when I after I pick him up in the evening in the car. I like that moment with him.
Mhm.
And most of the time it's listening to his experiences. And he will start telling me something that he did at school or that he read, and he will jump to something that he's anticipating. He'll be like, "Oh, mom, when I do this," or "Mom, next." So I've been talking with him about, if I actually ask him, "Do you realize that we are having this conversation, or you are baking this amazing dessert, or you are eating this, but you are not enjoying it because you are thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow?"
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then I asked him how he was feeling about the fact that he is often not even in the past, he is a lot in the future. And I asked him, "Do you feel like you are missing on now, the moment you and I are having?"
Yeah.
And he would say, "Yes, mom, I realize, I see." So I've noticed that since we've been having these conversations, he is more and more enjoying the moment,
That's
and he's
fantastic.
listening. And he saw the book. There is this amazing book that we read actually with Kabi. Actually, we had the author at a conference, one of our scoops. She was there, Ami Cuddy. So she did her power pose live. I saw it live. So anyway, that's an amazing book if anybody's interested
What is the
about
name of the book?
presence,
Presence. Okay.
the power of presence. Yeah, it's an amazing book just about presence. And it's, yeah, as we said, enjoying the here and now, not
Mm.
living in the past, not anticipating the future. It's good to have a good vision, a good plan, but it's good to be in the moment, because today is the only moment. Right now is the only moment we have, right? So making the best of it. How about
That's,
you,
that's,
James?
that's exactly. Yeah.
How about you? What is presence?
Well,
What are you?
when we're talking about this, it's interesting that it's in my experience in school. There's always that promise that you have this goal at the end. So
Mhm.
it's like Isaiah's starting high school, and there's the goal at the end. It's like your freshman,
Yeah.
sophomore, junior, senior, and then you graduate. And so there's always that sort of well,
Rat race that never stops.
yeah, right. It's like there's this goal that I'm not satisfied now because I haven't reached the goal, and so that sort of dilutes the experience of being here now. And when I think about it, like for me, I think back to my experience in high school, right? That was a lot of it. A lot of it was, oh, man, I don't like now because it's not as good as what it's going to be when I graduate.
Mhm.
And I think about that through a lot of my other experiences in life, and I think a lot of people will share that this idea as well. It's like my life will be better when this happens. So when I graduate college, or when I get married, or when I get a divorce, or whatever it is, right? There's I think especially with school, going back to school, that's sort of programmed into a lot of the students right at the start. It's like we have this goal we have to finish, and somehow uh, that goal, the achieving that goal is better than what is now, what is happening
Yeah.
now.
And then at the end, you realize that what's next? Because the
Right.
problem when you're chasing something like that, when you have a goal, is that once it's achieved, it leaves you incomplete. So
Yes.
you want to go for the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what I want to share now, James?
Okay.
And I called myself yesterday. I shared that one of my values was conscious creation. So being aware of myself in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught myself actually not listening to you, but listening to my own thoughts. I interrupted you while you were
Mm.
talking, and I finished your sentence.
Uh-huh. That's
And that was me being in my thoughts and me not listening to you.
right. Yeah.
So actually, I'm excited that I was able to catch myself. And so
Mm-hmm.
I pulled myself back, literally in your presence, shutting down my thoughts and just listening to you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a concrete example of what I mean by conscious creation, but also
Yes.
being in the moment.
Yeah. And that's something that we all work on, I think, constantly. I know for me, when I'm with a client, when I'm coaching, I have to remember that I'm not here to listen with the idea of formulating a response. I'm here to listen. I'm here to be exactly in the moment, and not think about the next thing I'm going to say, right?
Yeah. And that's our programmation, right? Because
Yes.
there is a certain way we act in the world, there is patterns of the world,
Yeah.
um, there are expectations, and what you and I have learned and are practicing in our coaching is that we forget about, we don't have preconceptions.
Hmm.
We try and come
Right.
with no ideas. What matters is the time, is the moment we're spending with the person, right?
Hmm.
We're listening to the person, what he's saying or she is saying now, because if we don't, then we have made up a story
Yes.
and we don't necessarily know. Like me, when I finish your sentence, it's my story in my head, right? But I don't know if it's your story. So I need to be listening to you,
Yeah.
just hearing what you are telling me.
Yeah. To be fair, though, we the reason why we decided to do this as a series of lives is because we are very much on the same wavelength, quote unquote, about lots of things, and so if you're finishing my sentence, I'm assuming probably
There is a danger. We're still two different
there's something
person,
there.
right? There is James Mayer, Caucasian, American. Like, did you live in Colorado all of your life?
No, I lived in Utah for until I was 27, I think,
Okay.
or something, yeah, and then I moved to Colorado. So
When you moved to Colorado. And me, oh my goodness, I moved so much. So
yeah,
I have my, born in Mali, raised in Senegal, left for France after high school and lived in Toulouse, in Nice, in Paris, moved
mhm,
to Morocco, moved back to Paris, moved to the States.
yeah,
Imagine all of my stories and stuff. So I think but that's the interesting thing. We have these wide and different experiences in our lives,
right,
but yet we come together through
yep.
our coaching and through our values today. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, to our coaching and through our values and through our common interest in a lot of we read a lot of the same stuff, and our common interest in learning and growing and finding out more about who we really are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know what it makes me think? That we are doing all of this, for me at least, and you tell me if it's for you. We have one goal, one purpose. It's to love and serve people
Yes. Yep.
because there is this pursuit of knowledge that we love. And with my Christian background, and I'm a Christian, it makes me think of the book of Ecclesiastes, that talk about, wanting to have all that knowledge. But at the end, I mean, it's not fulfilling as it is to be loved, to love and to be loved, because at the end, that's what matters, at least for me.
Yes.
So I realized that as I have this hunger and thirst for knowledge, it doesn't make sense to me if I don't share it, if I don't serve.
Right. Right.
So I love that we're doing this,
Yeah.
that our pursuit is actually to love, and it's part of our values, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
conditional love and authenticity.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I wanted to share one thing about presence as well that I don't know if you've read this yet. The Living Untethered, Michael Singer.
Yes, I haven't finished it. I am reading it, and I love it. I savor it, the short chapters,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
yes, it's amazing.
that's been something it's been mind blowing for me to. A lot of the perspective is something I'm familiar with from reading other books, but the way he shares it and the way he conveys it is really powerful. But I can't remember exactly what the chapter is, but he talks about imagine, and we've just received a much bigger perspective even than we had before about what the universe is because of the new telescope, the James Webb telescope that's out there. And so all of the billions or trillions of galaxies, each with trillions of stars in them, and out of that entire universe and out of, as best we can figure, 13.8 billion years, what we're experiencing right now is a moment that's unique. This moment has never happened before, and it will never happen again.
Mhm.
So, and that's out of thinking of the entire universe,
Yeah.
entire universe. This moment is very, very special in that it's unique.
It's precious. Do you know how I see this moment? What it is for me? For me, it's a moment in God's story, because
Mm.
of my background and my beliefs.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
believe that this is, my story is just a little part of God's big story, the big
Mhm.
plan he has for humanity.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, I see it as interesting. I see it as precious
Yes.
because it all has a purpose. It's just things working out together for something.
Yeah.
So it's precious because it's unique, because it has a specific meaning,
Mhm.
and that we don't know what's ending. We don't prepare this conversation. You
Right.
and I just committed to come here live,
Yeah.
15 minutes every day, and
Yep.
to share, to be fully authentic, to be
Yeah.
ourselves. And we don't know how it is going to be used, but we believe that it has a purpose. That's why we're committed to do it, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And also just to add on to that a little bit, there there is a purpose, but we don't have to worry about what that purpose is
Exactly. We don't
now.
need to figure it out.
Right? We don't have to figure that out now. That will be revealed if it needs to be.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's exciting. I just love it. I just love that we are committed to being here, being together,
Yeah.
and loving on each other and
Yeah.
loving on whoever is watching
Yeah,
us, right?
whoever's watching now. So thank
Yes.
you. I don't have a Facebook feed in front of me, so I don't know if anybody's watching at all or if somebody's watching
Oh,
later.
they will watch. I see views, so I know that I don't necessarily like or comment on everything that I watch. And I often like, I'm like, is it fair? Maybe if I watch it, I should let the person know. So maybe, yeah, you know what? That's my new commitment. When I
Yeah,
watch something, I take time, I have a thought,
take time to let
I
them know.
write a comment.
Yeah.
Yes, I like or write a comment. I think I'll do that. That's my commitment.
Can you believe that it's been 15, we've been speaking for 15 minutes?
Already?
that,
So can't wait for tomorrow. It goes
that that's
quick,
that's
huh?
I just wanted to mention this because you and I sometimes talk about Brooke Castillo, and she's one of my mentors, and one of the things she says is one of her values is constraint,
Yes.
right? So we go with 15 minutes, but it just
Yes,
flew by today. So that's amazing.
that is amazing.
Okay, any last words?
Maybe since we've been talking about presence, it's maybe reminding everyone that the only moment that counts really is the here and now.
Yes,
That's what
exactly.
you're living. You don't know what tomorrow is going to be. You're not sure of tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yesterday is already gone.
yeah,
So enjoy the here and now.
yeah. I love it. All right, I'm gonna